Okay, we are here. It's Thursday. It's happy hour. Waiting for my partner in crime to get on live. I hit the button. Did it do it? Okay. Hey, girl.
Oh, girl, hey.
I didn't even realize I was on the wrong page.
Like, wait a minute. It says Jessica is live. It doesn't say Casamitas is live. Jump in here and get it.
You
But
said what?
I said, let me jump in here and get this together. So our followers who've been watching the countdown, hey, Applejacks,
Hey,
uh,
girl.
been watching the countdown can jump in with us. Jack and Jen
Hey,
Knowledge.
J&D.
Oh, snap, y'all. Mr. Tim's Enough Said is actually present with us live. Uh,
Hey, everybody. We glad y'all joined us
in the
today.
room, come on in. Jessica, before we get started, make sure your phone is on. So ain't no
I
ringing.
did.
You know you populous. Be done rang in the middle of
I am,
the
I am not that popular.
cheers. And cheers. I left mine in Nashville in where I'm not at.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. I thought I was on the right page, and then I was like, wait a minute, these people ain't never been on here before. We popular today.
But you should have told make sure y'all jump off of here and jump on Casamigas, okay?
And
All
look,
right.
my regular followers over there. They probably thought I was cooking something.
Right. Because you know you be cooking it up.
Yeah.
Cooking it up. All
But
right.
anyway, how are you today, friend? Cousin?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I am wishing that I was with our other road dog today, honey.
Yeah.
Come back. 'Cause she was fetting it up. I said, let me fet with you next time.
Yeah.
Next
She is currently in the customs line. And so she said as soon as she get out of the customs line, she will jump on here with us.
time.
But our girl been living her best life in St. Lucia for
Amen.
Carnival, having the time of her life. I wish I would have went with her, but
Hey, Shanice.
hey, Shannon. But yeah, so okay, let's get started. Give me you know how we have to do. I need your phrase or your word that got you through the week so far. What is it? Come on, give it to me.
So my phrase, I was blessed to only have to work one day this week. Look at God, won't He do it? Amen. So mine has just been unplugged.
Okay.
Leave work, everything at home. Well, not at home, but where it's at, and just relax, relate, and release for these 5, 7 days, and you know I catch back up with them on Monday.
Okay. Ain't nothing wrong with that. For
What about
me, my phrase of the week is I need a vacation. Because when I tell you, for the past 3 weeks, I've either had visitors or I was out of town. Like every weekend, beginning on like Wednesday or Thursday for the past 3 weeks. And I'm tired.
you popular?
I
I
am,
tell you,
I
everybody
am
can get
tired.
with this, honey. Because I know I was one of them guests, one of them weeks. What?
Yeah, you wasn't in the past 3 weeks, but I had a break between you and these past 3 weeks that I just ran through.
Break.
Yeah, it was
So
a lot.
cheers.
So I am currently tired. So my phrase of the week is I need a vacation. So I'm on the countdown to this 40 trip because your girl is turning 40 in a couple weeks.
40 Club.
Yes. And so I will be in Greece celebrating my birthday. And yeah. So depending on the Wi-Fi situation, Casamigos might be live from Greece that week. Because that will be the week that will be gone. So yeah.
Yeah.
But so
What's
yeah,
y'all?
so I'm tired.
Nobody. Leo power. There we go.
Absolutely. Because
I'm thinking about
in a
Leo.
couple hours, it will be Leo season. So prepare yourselves.
I'm surrounded by Leos currently. Lord, help me.
Mm.
3 of them.
Cause
Right.
you know what, you know we are the shit.
Everybody in the comments, tell us what your word or phrase is that got y'all through the week. Yes, let's get back to that. Let's get back to that.
Yes, yes. Y'all give us y'all word or phrase for the week. Give us those. Shanice, calm down.
But girls are up next, and I got a couple of them around too. Lord bless it.
Crazy. Why crazy?
Why crazy, Court?
Inquiring minds want to know why crazy.
What's crazy that done got you through this week? I'm gonna share this with my friend group real quick. Had them jump in here to come see us. Up, she already here.
Yes. Make sure everybody give us y'all word or phrase for the week. Of course, Applejack, you always outside.
And I ain't mad at you.
First of all, sir, what you not gonna do?
I don't disagree with you, Court.
What you not gonna do? I thought we was better than that, Court. I thought we was better than that. I thought we was friends.
Mother Nature in the building.
Yes.
I'm trying to
My
be
girl
outside.
Applejack, she stay outside. She posted some pictures earlier. I was like, I need to go hang out with her because I like being outside, and she be out there.
I told you
And not like outside in the streets. My girl be in the wilderness outside, one with nature outside.
praise is push through the day, the week situation, and all. All right, Court.
Okay.
Denise is getting things done. Ain't nothing wrong with it. But, to be cognizant of y'all time. We know our time together is short and every 2 weeks, but we still wanted to check in with you, see how you going. But we're going to jump into this topic because y'all had stuff to say this week, honey.
I got some responses to that question that needed answer.
I got a list because we on here, so I couldn't save them on my phone. I had to go old school.
Look, I got my laptop right over here, so I can actually. I'm gonna put it right here so I can see it. So I got
no laptop. But y'all had comments. The post on the page, you saw we had a couple fellas chime in. They told us they were gonna be on live, so I'm looking forward to them jumping in here soon, letting us know what's going. Their thought process. But
yeah, because they had some good comments and when they were in the comment section, so it would be nice to have them on here for the discussion.
Our friend just jumped in.
There go our girl. You gonna go live with us? What you doing, boo? Hit the request if you're going live with us, Melinda. Or if you're able to.
The answer for this week is: are men of this generation weaker than those of eras gone past? So our parents, our grandparents, are the men that we're interacting with and dealing with and seeing today weaker than previous generations? Chime in, let us know what you think. While we waiting on the comments to blow up, because I know they coming, I'm gonna hit you with
And Melinda, don't forget to give us your word or phrase for the week.
Yes, man. Chris Cross says some, but not all.
But not all. Okay.
Why do you think they are, though?
There she go. Hey, girl. You still in that customs line? Are you still in customs?
Yes, I am.
Are you back, Jason?
Well, give us your phrase or word of the week before we jump into this topic right quick.
My phrase and word of the week is going to be relaxation, because I had plenty of that this week, and I needed it.
Relaxation.
So, relaxation. Yes, most definitely. You got to always fill your cup. If you don't fill your cup, you can't pour into others.
That is true. That is very true.
You guys, okay. I know you're in the airport, but you got to speak up. We can't hear you through that mask.
Oh, sorry. Oh, Lord. Hi, friends.
I should have played it together. Hey, girl.
But yes, You can't pour from an empty cup.
Can't pour
Because
from
you can't.
the
Yeah.
That's my phrase. I say it all the time. You know it.
My girl done lost her voice. She been out there having the time of her life. She ain't got no voice
I
no more.
did.
She
That
went to
voice is
fit.
gone.
I'm still waiting on my picture. I need to see the full body outfit posted. If y'all
I
not following her and that little reel she posted that gave you just a glimpse, y'all would have been like, "Oh my goodness." She,
I know.
I'm waiting on the full
I
body. Oh,
you
we
know.
got a Crisscross says, "Hey
Oh
cousin,
yeah.
because they want us to be homemakers like our great grandmothers, but don't want to provide like our great grandfathers. They rather listen to their friends instead of being an individual."
Ooh.
And that's a fair statement. That is a fair statement. But it go both ways. Like me and Jessica, we're just having a conversation, and this is gonna be a whole other topic, so we ain't gonna get into it too much. But
Mm-hmm.
um, and you've seen it posted. Y'all saw the viral video. The woman getting mad because her man didn't pay for everybody that went out with her. And then there was another post about they've been going in on men this week about if
Because he didn't pay for her friends.
they'll have on the bills, he's a real
That,
man. And so it's like it's a different generation. In that generation, the women were the homemakers. They weren't going out to work, this, that, and the other. So the men had to pay all the bills. We're in this generation, we working equal. We both need to be putting in work in the house. We both need to be helping pay with the bills, right?
I think there's a good question too in regards to explain what you mean by weak in regards to like in what setting or what I guess you could say category or are
well,
we
the question itself came from we saw this video earlier this week, and in the video, the woman was she used the reference of like the Arabian men with camels. And so where the man was telling his son, he was like, you know, you currently drive a Range Rover because I worked hard for you to get that. And then your son drives a Benz, but your son's son will be back on a camel because he was too privileged and didn't have to work for anything, which means that because he never had to work for anything, he became a weak man versus a strong man that worked for everything he got. And so that's where we got this question from, to say that do you people consider the men of today weak because a lot of them stuff might be handed to a lot of them. They don't have to work really hard for things anymore like they used to do back in the day. Because back in the day, the men were working hard to, you know, take care of their households because women weren't able to do a lot of the stuff that we're able to do now. Back then, I mean, it was 50, you still can look at it as 50-50, but not when it comes to like providing. The men were the sole providers back in the day. They were the ones bringing in all the money and all that stuff. And they were the only ones whose name could be on the stuff. They were the only ones who could do certain things. Whereas nowadays, women can do just as much, if not more than men. And so the question came about is, are men of today considered weak because they don't have to work as hard as the men that were in our grandfathers and fathers era?
So my take on that is always going to be I think it's the difference between traditional and modern, and also like changing times as well. So we can't
Mhm.
expect to hold people to standards of past when we have a whole different I guess you could say standards today as to what people do and what men can do and what they're capable of doing. So I think it's just a difference between traditional versus modern. Did you guys
So
hear a
black
word I
people
said?
said that weak men come from single parent homes with no father.
See, I don't agree with that either. I don't agree
I,
with
I
that
don't I don't
at
agree with that.
all, because I know some men that could definitely be considered weak, and especially where this conversation started, right, was they were overly cared for. They were provided for so well that they don't know how to do something. And that's what has made them weak. And with that, I'm gonna jump into one of the comments that I got. They think it's true, but it's a parent's nature to want to give your child better than you had growing up. If you aren't finding a way to give them those same lessons that you learned in the hard times while giving them more than you had, those hard times are what taught you to be strong. You're making them weak by not giving them those lessons or finding a way to give them those lessons.
Okay.
I'll tell you, I'm gonna see this one. This one, I got nephews, and I sat down and talked to my 13-year-old nephew, and he said about this generation coming up that he is a part of. This generation is weak because it doesn't have the persistence of previous generations to go for what they want. They get told no, and they're quick to quit instead of keeping working for what they want. That's a 13-year-old.
That is true. There are plenty of single parent households.
And those comments are blowing up. I want to get these comments on
No,
record.
we're not. We're not saying that all men have it easy. That's not what we're saying.
I
What
think.
we're saying.
Mhm.
Go ahead, Melinda.
No, I was gonna say I think it's not. I think it's father figure because I know plenty of people, plenty of men at that who did not have a father in the home. They had father figures, whether that be their grandfather, whether that be a brother, whether it be a cousin, someone that can guide them to where they need to go. And I know plenty of, kind of going back to what Candace was saying. I know people, plenty of men who grew up in homes with both parents, and those men, I mean, the teachings that were taught, they didn't take it. So I can wholly agree with that statement. I think a father figure being in the home is important, but I also think having a father figure in general is important. Someone that you can go to that can teach you what needs to be taught, all the other stuff. And okay, I won't go into the second part, but go ahead and continue with what you were saying.
I mean, I agree with what you were saying, because just because there's a father in the home doesn't mean that the person is going to be strong and independent and that kind of stuff. Because you find some men or even women who grew up with two parents in their household, they were handed everything, given everything. They never had to really work for anything, and they can't really function in real life. They expect everybody to do everything for them.
Oh, that's a huge generalization, Blackskin. Most men don't have father figures or anyone to look up to. I
would never say most.
I have never met a man that hasn't, in person, I don't know you, I have never met a man in person that hasn't had some sort of father figure, whether it is their father, their uncle, a big cousin, their coaches, or some random person in the neighborhood that has tried to pour into them. Now, if you are too stubborn to listen, as a little man, that's on you. But that doesn't mean that there aren't men out there, teachers, coaches, pastors, whatever, that don't have a father, that don't have a person trying to pour into you and make you better. Doesn't mean you don't have a father figure. And again, just like Jackie acknowledged to the brothers, that don't make them weak.
I think so. Just for clarification, if you grew up, I think at some age, yes, at some point in time, it's your responsibility to find someone that can guide you and teach you. I kind of understand where it's coming from. Yeah, when you're a kid or a teenager, if it's not there, I get that. But at some point in time, there has to be somebody in your life that you should be able to go to or feel that you can go to. And also, kind of going back to the women raise weak men, where are the men to raise them then? Where are they? Well, we have to talk about that. I can agree with the statement as so far as, well, where's the other half of the slack, or where are the people who, who are coming in and saying, hey, as a community, we need to make sure that we're producing that. And also, I can't agree with that statement either in regards to the women raising weak men, because once again, it goes back to, of course, my personal experiences, but you guys are more than welcome to chime in on any other experiences you guys have had.
Sebastian Du Bois want to know who are raising the majority of these weak men.
Anybody can raise a weak man. It's Here,
It can be
and
a mother, it can be a father, or it can be both.
it can be. It jumps back to that initial question: how are you defining weak? And again, going back to the video,
I'm sorry.
the definition of weak came from the fact that these people have zero work ethic. They
Because they were handed everything, they were given everything.
See the lady over there.
and again, my first comment I read, I said, yes, it's in a parent's nature to want their child to have more than what they had growing up. But if you're not still finding a way to teach them some sort of discipline, some sort of work ethic, manners, because Lord Jesus, these children and these do anything for life, I'm disrespecting everybody and their mama, then you're making weak children. If you too busy trying to be a friend instead of being a parent, I can say my parents are my friends now, but I'm 39. My parents were not my
They
friends
weren't
when I
my friends growing up.
was 12, 13, 14, 18 years. They still were my friend when I was in my 20s.
No.
You stop trying to be a friend of parents. And I know parenting is different than when we grew up. You're not ruling by the best or whatever. But if you stop trying to be a friend and parent, then you don't be no weak children out there. And we ain't got to worry about these hard times that are coming. And those who are just jumping in who did not go to our page, if you check out our story when we get off of this live, it's got the video that this came from, that this topic came from.
No, privilege is not weak.
It's simple. Do you have a work
Privilege
ethic?
isn't weak, but it can be a tool that makes people weak. Because just because you're privileged, if you're not forced, I wouldn't even say forced. You can be privileged, but not told that you have to, do not giving the tools to work hard. You're just handed every single thing you want. And then when you get out here in the real world, you still expect everything just to be handed to you. That makes you weak. But if you're privileged and you're also taught principles of good work ethic, because you can be privileged and even see or be taught good work ethic and you not be weak. But just to expect everything to be handed to you or everything to be done for you, because that's how it's always been for you. And you can't function on your own without somebody taking care of you. That makes you, whether you a man or a woman, that makes you a weak individual if you can't function in society on your own because you're so used to being given everything. We lost
We did.
she's spinning over there. She named
I'm back.
Oh, there she go.
Girl. So it's a G Code and welcome to the room. Welcome to the room, G Code. You were one of our very vocal folks in the comment section of the post. Talk to us about your definition of weak and if you believe this generation of men is weaker than generations past.
Yeah, he had a lot to say in the comment.
Hey, Mookie.
Hey, Mookie. Y'all did.
Facts, Jack and Jen. Jack and Jen said me and my brother grew up with a single parent and we turned out just fine.
They did. I think a lot of times when people growing up in like single parent households.
So I gotta chime in because I got a slight. I'm gonna turn the camera because they don't like to be on camera. But my slight audience said I did too.
They what?
My mother, I did too. Single parent. My grandmother was a single parent for a very long time. And my aunts, uncles, mom, just fine.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think growing up in a single parent household doesn't make you weak. If anything, it shows you what struggle looks like.
And that goes back to the video. That's what you think. What's what we think, Blaxican?
And I'm speaking because I grew up in a single parent house. I know what it showed me growing up in a single parent household. I know what strength looks like. I know what it's like to work for what you want and to strive to do better and to be better than what you had previously. I know what that looks like. So growing up in a single parent household didn't make me weak. If anything, it made me stronger. Exactly. Applejack said weak means no ambition, drive, no goals, and entitled. Not all men are weak, but there are a lot of weak men and weak-minded men and women. Which
Exactly.
is true.
And excuse me, not G Code. Sebastian said then exactly. We're debating a mindset. So that's what it is. That's what it boils down to.
It's a
People have
mindset.
mindsets and don't know how to go out and hustle and work for what they want. This generation of men, like Mr. Tim said earlier on in the podcast, not just men. We'll even take men off the table. This generation don't know how
People
to
in
take
general. We'll say people in general, men and women. We're not going to just say men.
and find that lesson in losing. They don't understand that, as Jack and Jen have said, or Jack from Jack and Jen has said multiple times on that podcast, that failure to fail is just a first attempt in learning, right? So, okay, I didn't win this go round, I failed, but I'm taking all the lessons from this. Oh, okay, I see where I was weak here and I can build on that. I see where I was weak here and I can build on, oh, I'm strong here. Let's play to that for a little bit while I'm building on these extra skills that I'm weaker at. First attempt in learning as I push forward to still continue to pursue that goal. They don't have that anymore. And my question is, now that we've debated this mindset, who's at fault? Who's at fault that they don't have that mindset?
Yeah, that's the question. Is it their parents' fault or is it their fault for maybe not wanting to change what they're used to?
Blaxican said he want to chime in.
He what?
He said, y'all need to get me on camera. I can't text my answers fast enough.
Where he at?
They say they not sure they. You gonna let him in, Jessica?
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna see what Applejack said. I'm not even sure that they know what they want, just a life to happen instead of people. Okay, hold on. Let me go to him. Did he send a request to join?
Request to join. We can get up to 4 people on. You'll be number 4, Blaxican. I don't even know who you are, but jump on in him.
That way we can see, maybe he can articulate himself better than what he's typing.
So Courtney said society has pushed this participation world on us, which makes weak kids that turn into weak men. Society in general. G-Co said Shaq made a great statement. Shaq told his kids they can't tap in his pockets unless they get 2 degrees. Boom. Both of them is right. If you're coming from a privileged household, you have to set boundaries for your kids. So like I said earlier, they learn those lessons. Yes, I'm going to give you more than what I had growing up, but I got to find a way to get you these lessons so you don't grow up to where you can't take care of yourself and you can't handle yourself when I ain't here no more, or when it's time for you to go out and be out and on your own.
Mm-mm. I agree with that.
It's up to the individual. What do you mean up to the individual, Lauren? To have that drive?
Hello. Hello.
Hello,
Yeah.
who are you? And how you find us? Welcome to the show.
How you doing?
So you wanted to be on. You want to tell us what you couldn't type quickly?
Give us your thoughts.
All right. So my thing is, I think that weak weak people come from weak parents because of course, what y'all been saying, like, like what y'all, what parents give and everything like that. I understand that, but most of the people that I know or that I grew up with come from single parent homes. And a lot of them are pretty much the way y'all talk, the same way that y'all talk about, like, all right, like they have like no ambition, no drive, and you have to understand that like it's the area that they grew up in or their environment. You know what I mean? And a lot of times it's the parents too, because the parents, either they work so much jobs that like they barely home it's not home as it is, so it's like they don't get that chance to kind of like get their drive. So when I mentioned the fact that a lot of fathers are not home, I mean, like, I'm speaking for men. Like, women, okay, you always want to have your mom, like your mom is there, all that, like you see her working hard, so cool. Y'all had that example. As far as men to actually grow up to be a man, you had to be taught and learn by a man. So what I'm doing is I'm taking what y'all saying about, like, okay, like weak men come from single parent household, which is the females. So I was raised by a female, so I kind of understand that. So when I got older, I kind of had to teach myself how to be a better man by learning from different men. A lot of kids these days are not in tune to that. Like they go off of like what they boy do or whatever. Me, I had to go off of like, okay, my grandfather had to try it from my uncle or my teachers. I mean, like, hell, like my teachers, like only one of them in high school was black. You know what I mean? So it was like I had to kind of go out there and figure out myself. But other people didn't have anybody to grow up with. So it was like, in a way, I kind of see where that comes from.
But here's the thing, I'm gonna jump into some of these comments that have been going on because they're in responses. I'm here. First, Lauren said that's up to the individual. The environment doesn't define an individual. I know a lot of people who came from not the greatest locations. Now, granted, my neighborhood has been gentrified, and there's plenty of not people that look like me. And when I came back to my neighborhood, I was like, where all these came from, right? It is what it is. I went to a school that was not a popular, not one of the top schools in the high school in the city with shootings and et cetera happening in the school. I get that. But your environment, I have friends that I graduated with doctorates, running businesses, lawyers, etc. Your environment doesn't define you.
Right.
It's your drive that defines you. You said you went out and you found a man to emulate. Right. You found your own. But that's the same thing. Were you in sports? Your coach was trying. Were you in sport activities in school? You said you had teachers.
No,
I had teachers at my school, and I was blessed. I had my father and my mother in my home with me. Now, granted, my father worked his butt off, and he to this day is still working his butt off. Don't get home till after dark. But I had teachers in the school that were looking after not just me, who came from, I think, a blessed household, to my friends who were foster children in other households. And these people weren't black. They didn't have to look like me to want the best for me and want to teach me. The coaches that I was around, because I was an athlete, they didn't look like me. None of my coaches looked like me, but they all wanted to pour into me. So you have to get out of that mindset. I need somebody that looks like me to be such and such.
That's privilege. I'm from Philly. These kids don't have anybody. Their parents, their mom's a whole bag. Like these kids don't have anything. So you grow up with people who wanted better for you, whether they be white, black, whatever. That's cool. That's great. A lot of kids didn't have that. So what do you say about them? Like, a lot of kids didn't have that. Did
they not have it, or did they not accept it because it came from somebody that they didn't want it from?
Oh no, like they didn't have it because we come from, like, where I come from, nobody gives a crap. They don't. And now that I'm older, I see it like firsthand, but now it's worse. So it's like, okay, it's like, I'm like, all right, so like, where is this coming from? You know, because, you know, like, a lot of the kids are smart. Like they can steal something from you and sell it back to you, like making like, you know, like freaking, you know, like twice the money. So I'm like, okay, like these kids are smart, but like, why aren't they using it? And it's like, okay, is it where they're from? Is it their parents? Is it their influences? Like, I get what you're saying that, okay, that, you know, like you had help from like other people, but a lot of these kids either don't know that they need help or they think that is normal. Like you gotta like add that in there too, because like a lot of kids think that, you know, what goes on in their neighborhood with like the violence and everything is normal. You know what I mean? So it's like,
I was just gonna ask that question. So at what point in your life, okay, as children, I get it.
yeah,
At what point in your life do you take responsibility for yourself and making yourself better?
That's exactly what I was gonna
that
ask. Because I
that's
get the fact that
self-awareness.
you say people grew up in areas where, you know, they didn't have all that stuff. They didn't have people to
Right.
look up to, that kind of stuff. But like he
Mhm.
said, at what point do you want better for yourself? Regardless of what's around you, what you got going on, at what point do you want better for yourself? How
I
do
get
you
that.
make you better?
Right.
Regardless of what you don't have or what's in your neighborhood. Because like I said, I grew up in a single parent household. I know what it's like to
Mhm.
come home and not know what you're going to eat every day.
Right.
Been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. But I refuse to let my environment define who I am. I wanted
But
better
like,
for myself, so I went out and got better for myself.
right.
So
Right, but
at
like,
what
where does that
point
come
do
from though?
people do that?
That comes from self-awareness. Like you had to figure that out. Like you had to, like, at some point in life you had to figure that out, correct?
Right. I had to
Right.
figure it
But
out
like
for
when I
myself. I didn't depend
what
on
I'm
other
saying is
people to
that
figure it out for me.
So
right,
okay,
but like that's
here's the
special.
question in
That's
the
special
comments
though.
for you.
So,
Here's a question in the comments for you. Because you're talking about where you come from, doesn't have this, doesn't
I don't
have
see my
people,
bag.
these kids have nothing. Their parents ain't shit, they teachers ain't shit, et cetera, et cetera.
right.
Excuse me, language. Mr. Timms enough said, so what are you doing to fix the problem in your neighborhood, King? Because if
First
you
off,
what are
first
you
off to the guy, or whatever. For him to kind of turn that question around on me when I'm trying to chime in and tell y'all what the deal is. This female, like dog, really, like, okay, like that's like okay, well, if I'm talking about a problem, okay, so what are you doing about it? Like first off, don't turn it around on me. I'm coming in here and give y'all some insight or whatever. Don't turn around on me talking about some all right then, what are you doing about it? What do you, like, don't, like, that's totally like female, dog. Like I don't know who to do this or whatever, but you know,
it's
like, come on, like that, like I'm not a teacher. I'm not a life coach. I'm not any, like, I'm just saying where I see and where I see it coming from. I didn't say I'm a savior. I'm not Jesus or whatever. I'm just telling y'all where I see it from. So it's like,
but
so
the thing
bull coming at me like, oh well, come on, like, please don't.
this is the thing, and I know him personally, and so this is why
Okay.
I said that.
All right.
He's asking that question because he's none of those things either. But when he sees a
Like, you
problem,
know him personally, I don't. Like, you tell me the question, so it is what it is.
here's the thing.
Well, I think it's a matter of
He sees the problem.
even
He's
talking
going
about
Candace, let
what
me
you're
let them
doing,
talk.
he's going to have
with your
a
own son.
conversation with
Like
folks, even if
that,
it's
I don't.
person
Hold on,
individually.
Yeah, but
Going
he's
to have
asking. But
conversations
that
with these
question
kids.
also has to
I'm
do
doing
with
my
what are
part to
you
have
doing with your own son? Like, what are
right.
you doing with the
Wait,
with the
I
homeowners in your
identify the problem.
community?
wait
He
a
wants
minute.
to make things better. So he's not saying that you identifying it is an issue. You pointed it out, and that's the thing. You've noticed it. The first point in
Right.
making something better is to notice and identify the problem. So now,
Right.
the next step is to identify how you, in your way, can help. Ain't none of us rich. Ain't none of us out here singers with a huge platform. We got 12 people watching right now. We ain't got 50,000 followers where folks can donate money, hey, send money to the other. We don't. But each of us on here, and us three, Jackie, Jen, Knowledge, all work in some method to help improve the community that we come from. because we want better for the people coming behind us. That's where the question
Of
came
course, of course.
from. Okay, you identified it, so how are you going to help make it better? That's it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. 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 True. I get that. But like, as far as me helping other kids, okay, I can see that. But I have my own kid to help. You know, to make sure that to make sure he doesn't end up like me. You know, so I have my own seed to kind of pour that into. I get it. You know, like with like other kids and everything. But like, if I give my energy elsewhere, my kid is going to get less. So like, I mean, like honestly, like I'm for my seed and my family. So I can help who I help, advice, give it advice or whatever. But as far as like physically being there, I have a lot on my plate. So okay, like I get that, but I mean, I got my own boy to worry about to make sure that there's no repeat of what I went through dealing with a single parent household. So
Gotcha. Okay. Well, we're going to get somebody else in here to chime in. Thank you for
all right,
your commentary.
no
Absolutely.
problem. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Mhm.
Now, Melinda, what was you saying? We couldn't hear you because you and Candace was talking at the same time, and I couldn't hear nothing.
Oh, that's
I
fine.
have my boy
Hold
Cliff.
on. Well, no, I was in essence kind of saying, in regards to the question that was asked, is like sometimes when we think of community, we think of like us in essence helping the whole world, but it's one person, right? Like, what are you doing with one person to change everything? And I also going back to what you guys were saying as well. It's like, yes, when you're a kid, yes, there are factors you can't control as a kid. There are factors you can't control as a teenager. But when you become a full-on adult, there are things that you can control. So going back to the question of like, when you had asked Candace, like, whose fault is it? I had made mention of that earlier. At some point in time, it's no one else's fault but yours. It's your fault because if you're not
Absolutely.
taking, because like we all, yes, you could have a representative, or you could have you could have an image of what you want to grow into, but if you don't have it, so you just not succeed, you not go further, you not work on yourself. So at some point in time, it's like, yes, when you're younger, you're a kid, most definitely it's the adults around you. I'm wholeheartedly with that, but when you are older, the fault is yours.
Absolutely. And when the Poppy said it, you can include your kids. He said he got his own kids to worry about. You can include your kids. All
Exactly.
kids in the neighborhood knew my uncle and often saw him as their father figure. Why? And you know what?
Exactly.
That is the way that you give your kids that lesson. Everybody ain't got what you got. So be grateful for what I'm able to give you.
Exactly.
That's how you teach that lesson to them, because that's how I learned it. I was blessed. I've never ever not said I was blessed coming up. But everybody didn't have what I have. I have family members, and I see it when I saw them. I experienced it when I went to stay with them, and I want it better for them, and I want it better for me. And to this day, I work to make sure that it's better for the generations coming behind me. Working on a college campus, working with Empowerment Inc. with the teams in the city of Nashville, because I want better.
Applejack's made a good point. She said if you can identify a problem in your neighborhood or community and say that you can't do anything for anyone else, that's kind of weak to her.
Absolutely, a whole village. If you ain't got your village, get out there and find one. And I'm saying this as someone who has lived in multiple states. So every time I moved, I had to find a new village. Get out there and find one.
Exactly, G Code. He said if you still fall weak, that's a you problem. Right. And that's the thing, Court. When you in a neighborhood where there's a bunch of kids and they see your kids out doing stuff and they want to come hang out with your kids, and you include them on the stuff that you do with those kids, and because they don't have somebody doing that kind of stuff for them, that's a community, that's the village, that's helping them see other stuff. You can't
Amen.
just be like, well, I just got my kid to focus on,
And
and
I'm
then
gonna jump
complain
in.
about the stuff that's happening.
Applejack's is right. If you stick with that same mindset, I'm gonna do for mine and mine alone. You're recycling the same mindset that got that neighborhood in that situation to begin with. I
Exactly.
know people from Philly. I know people from Wilmington, Delaware, that came up heads busted, but they not living that life. And in fact, I know they left. They got out of Philly, got degrees, multiple, and then came back in the schools now, working every day, trying to be that influence for some child, if the child lets them.
Yeah.
Kids got to be open to it. Village, Jack and Denali said, village and community that has to be rebuilt, but it ain't gonna happen if people just stay in the house and not open up. You got to get out. You got to open up. Just like Jack and Denali, you didn't watch their podcast on Sunday. They talked about it. And then brick walls ain't gonna help nothing. Y'all out here, y'all got these brick walls up. Now you ain't got no community because your brick walls are up. Ain't nobody getting in there. You got to get out of them walls. Find that community, your village, to help you grow, to be there to help take care of your kids, to be that village for other kids in the neighborhood. You got to. You got to get out of yourself.
That's the thing. A lot of people have the mind, and it's funny because we was just saying that if you don't want more for yourself and you expect other people to do it,
That's what's weak.
right? And like the dude was saying, he was like, yeah, he in this neighborhood where it's this and that, but you're not doing nothing about it. You said you got your own kid to focus on, but you want to blame it on the fact that people grew up in single parent households.
It's your mindset. So Applejack said you got to spread love as far as you can, and you will see it return. You're going to get what you put out there. You identify. So this has always been my issue. And with this, and I work on like I said, I work on a college campus. I work with students every day. Don't come to me with a problem. You ain't got a solution for it. I'm going to sit down with you and I'm going to work you through it. Okay, so this is the problem. You can't, have you thought of ideas to work through the problem? Have you thought of situations ways to remedy it? You haven't? Okay, let's sit down and troubleshoot then. Because my job is to prepare them for that. Yes, people said our education begin at home, whoop-de-whoop-de-woo. My job is still to prepare you for your next step as an adult.
Because you're another influence for them. You're another part of a village. They might not be getting, that at home, and you being that for them helps that out.
Absolutely, Shanice. Shanice said, I also think it's about making connections and staying connected. They won't and don't just need you as a sixth grader. It's beyond. Absolutely. I have colleagues and mentees that I met when I was an undergraduate. Or let me not say undergraduate. As a graduate student, I hired them as a GA at Austin Peay that are now full-grown professionals with multiple degrees that still call me, text me, hey, I need to bounce this idea off you. I'm going through this. I need to talk with you. And I have the same thing. I still call some of my old mentors from high school, from college. I need to bounce this off of you, man, because it's got my brain all jacked up. You build your own village. One of my mentors actually calls it her board of directors. I got a board of directors. My board of directors include my career mentors. It includes my life mentors, my life coaches. I have a board of directors, 10, 12 people I can call if I have an issue to help me work things out. Create
You
yourself.
gotta have a strong circle. You gotta have a strong circle. It's needed, regardless of where you are in life.
But they don't mind. They got voluntold.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta have a strong circle, no matter what your situation was growing up. Even if you grew up in a 2-parent household and you had everything you needed in life and you never wanted for anything. As an adult, you still need a strong circle. You need people you need people who are gonna be there for you, who are gonna we lost our girl.
Sorry, brother.
But you need people who are gonna, tell you when you're wrong, help you correct some things. You need people who are not gonna just be yes to you. You need people who are gonna encourage you to be better. If you come to one of your people in your circle and you have a good idea, and they be like, yeah, you should try that, you should do that. What can I do to help you? How can I support you?
That part.
Or if you out here being reckless, you need people to be like, you need to stop. That's not it.
It's down.
Right. You need those kind of people in your life. And if you're just out here doing what you want because you feel like you can.
Hey, listen, run that back. Let me give Apple Jacks her credit. People that want better seek better. Period.
Exactly.
It is your mindset. People who want better seek better.
Yeah.
And styling what Shanice said, you need people who challenge you to be a better you. You don't want nobody to keep you at status quo.
Absolutely not. Because when people keep you at a certain level, that means it's comfortable for them. Because that's where they're comfortable with you being at. If the people in your circle aren't encouraging you to be better, pushing you to be better, and they're like, girl, no, you good, just, why are you trying to do that? You just stay here. That's because that's comfortable for them.
For them.
You being there is comfortable for them.
Jack and Jen always said, by any means necessary, asking for help is not a weakness.
That's the strength right there. Because a lot of people won't ask for help. A lot of people refuse to ask for help. And I can admit that I'm one of those people. I will do whatever I can to get whatever I need to be done by myself.
Facts. Me too.
And Melinda be pushing at me because she be like,
Mama just said it's in our blood. Mama said it's in our blood.
And I know it is. And I fuss at Melinda because Melinda's the same way. She would try to do stuff on her own. And I'd be like, girl. But that's what I'm saying. We are accountable. We are accountability partners for each other because that's what you're supposed to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because what I look like trying to make myself better and my friend out here just doing whatever, struggling. What does that look like? How does that make me look?
And how is that benefiting you?
It's not.
I saw I'm reading a book. And in the book, they said a person not taking help when they need it does not make them appear strong. It makes them appear to be idiot.
I can see that. That makes sense.
It don't make you look strong not taking help when you need it and it's offered. It makes you look stupid. That's what makes you, like Jack and Jen always said, asking for help don't make you weak. Refusing help that you need makes you weak.
Yeah. You got to be self-aware. That's where self-awareness comes in. You got to be self-aware. And that's what seems like every time we go live, I say the same thing. You got to do self-work.
You got to put in the work.
Self-work is absolutely necessary.
You got to look at that man, that woman in the mirror. It's so important. It's so important. Because if you don't,
Yeah.
you can do better if you don't go out and work to be better.
No matter what's going on in your life, if self ain't good, ain't nothing gonna be good.
Refusing help, Splenda Poppy said, refusing help when you need it is definitely an ego trip. Absolutely.
Yeah, because you feel like you can do it on your own and you can't. You know you can't, but you're not gonna tell nobody you can't.
See, the problem is society got folks believing in this. I pulled myself up by my own bootstraps with no help. Ain't nobody in this world made it without somebody helping them do something. Period. I don't care what nobody say. Ain't nobody in this world made it successful without someone either paving the path in front of them for them to follow or being some sort of help and guidance for them along the way as they were working their way to their success.
I
That's
think
a lot of what the society has got you, everyone believing, and that's what's causing folks to not be successful. Because I want to say I made it on my own. You didn't. Ain't nobody made it on their own. Everybody had help. Period.
Some
I
kind of
think
way.
one of the best things that I've learned over the past, like, kind of following this podcast, I don't know, remember the name of the podcast, I have to plug it in, is that most of the billionaires that you see or the millionaires that you see, these, you know, people who are over $1 million, $1 trillion companies, they don't know it all. They don't know it all. They are smart enough to seek the knowledge, right? Like, I may have a great idea for it's an app, but I'm not really good at technology. I'm gonna seek that help. I'm gonna seek that person. So I think going back to when you have that, you know, whether you are, if you are not self-aware, Black African, going back to your comment, that at some point in time you want to seek knowledge. Like, that's part of growth. Like, that's part of, you know, even though I always say don't compare yourself to others, but at some point in time you're like, why is X person here and I'm here, right? And you have to seek that knowledge or be willing to seek that knowledge. So I think that's also a very important thing to know, is that, you know, asking for help and seeking that knowledge. You will never know it all. In order to build your foundation, in order to build that multi-billion-dollar organization, or even build yourself up, you're going to need those guys. You're going to need that guidance. You're going to need those advisors. You're going to need those people who are going to keep you on the straight and narrow and who know more than you. And, you know, kind of going back to which kind of, it literally all goes back to that same point. At some point in time, you have to put in the work and do it yourself.
And this is all in response to Blaxican's question. So what if the person isn't self-aware, they just don't know? At some point in time, like she said, you have to start looking at yourself in the mirror. You have to,
Seek
when
that
you want
knowledge.
if you're coming from the type of neighborhoods that you've mentioned, you have to at some point in time want better for yourself. You got to seek it out some way.
You got to ask questions. You got to go to people who are in places that you're trying to be.
Everybody can't do it for you. Some of it is, the onus is on you to do for self. Applejack said, see, that's why our school system should be teaching self-wellness, self-care, all of that, because they don't have it at home. They need it. They need to hear it from somewhere. Agreed. Our school system absolutely needs to be reformed on what they're teaching, because in part of having this conversation with we talked about my 13-year-old nephew as part of the conversation. There's a lot of stuff he says he's learning. I don't ever think I'm going to use it. I literally never think I'm going to use it. I haven't used trigonometry a day in my life since I left high school. I don't need to. But there are things, self-awareness and self-care, how to be an adult. They took stuff like that out of school. They used to teach that. Trades, they took that out of school. They used to teach that. You got Jack and Jen Knowledge said you got to work on yourself in order to work yourself into a better place, because whether you know it, people rely on you, and you can't pour from an empty cup.
You can't.
Jack and Jen Knowledge also said personal responsibility has to become a factor in the equation. Stop blaming where you're from plenty are from the same place, just different locations.
One of my
And
brother's
y'all,
favorite saying. One of my brother's
this
favorite saying is, "No one cares
hold on,
about your
hold on
story
one
until
second,
you win."
Melinda. Hold on 1 second, because we about to Instagram about to cut us off, so it's gonna cut us off, and I'm